Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, where you coming from, wherever you are. So let me start my session on giving an update on predictive analytics in GRC. Before I start, let's ask a tough question. Why do we need innovation? GRC has been there for a very long time. Why do we need innovation? Why do we need AI right now? As Michael said in the beginning of the session, we need to be more proactive, not reactive in our approach. Now let's ask a hard question. What are we doing right now in GRC, right? We log risk, we track them real time, but is that enough? I don't think it's enough, right? And that's where with the invent of AI and machine learning, now we are actually want to move left, which is basically means that from a reactive approach, we want to go into a proactive governance, proactive risk management, and proactive compliance management, right? That's where we want to head. And that's where the new Cura platform is built on, right? And if you look at three principal pillars on which we actually build this entire platform, it's on predictive analytics is a pillar one, actionable insights is pillar two, and forecasting is pillar three, right? And why these three things are very important is because if you want to make decisions in today's world, you need to be able to have good analytic information, right? Information which is actionable is also very important. And that's where you make data-driven insights. That's where you have actionable insights. And as Michael said, and I want to repeat him again, you don't want to be driving, looking in the rear mirror, but you want to be looking ahead of you, what is going to come. And that's where the forecasting comes in place, where you are able to proactively respond to threats and risks. And that's where these three major pillars play an important role on this platform, right? Now, this particular platform, which I want to show very soon, is actually built completely on open integration platform. It uses full stack of AI, and what it does basically is now we also understand that information is spread out in the enterprises, right? So our agentic AI workflows not just pull information from GRC, but they can also get information from wherever sources of information, data you might be storing, right? So what the agentic flow does is it pulls up all the required information, draws actionable insights, looks at the historic data, and also gives you a forecasting model, right? And what's more wonderful about this platform is it is very easily integratable. That means, it's going to be up and running very, very soon as you would want it to be up and running in your organization. And it is platform agnostic, which also means that it can be on-prem and it doesn't need to be on the cloud. And if you want to be on the cloud, it can also work on the cloud, right? Those are the pillars on which this entire platform has been constructed on, right? Now, without wasting any time, let me actually get to the meat of the session, which is let me show you how this all plays out in the tool. Okay. Let me show you the platform. All right, so this is where this is the melting pot of where which we have discussed so far. This is how the predictive analytics tool looks like, the platform looks like. Now, if you look at it, it strongly works on two main principles, which is your predictive analytics module and your forecasting module, right? So you have two different modules which have been built here. And if you look at the predictive analytics module here, just to give you a quick overview, this will give you a single shot overview of overall risks which you have in enterprises. For example, if you look at the critical risk, you can go back and dig deeper and get actionable insights on what are the critical risks which you have currently in the organization, right? Similarly, you can go back and see what is the forecasted risk for next quarter, next year for the enterprise. And what you can also do in this platform is you can go back and compare with historic data. You can go 1 year back and see how are your critical risks 1 year back compared to what we have right now. So it's a very flexible platform where you can look at the forecast You can also look at the historic data. You can also get actionable insights here, because whenever you want to make decisions, it's very important that you have data-driven decisions. And for that reason, we have given actionable insights here. So you can pull up actionable insights. You can see the overall risk status of the current organization from this platform. Along with this, you can also go back in the past, and you can also see what is your risk average for the last 4 years. We can go deeper for next 10 years, depending on how good your data is and how long your data has been stored on GRC. You can go and look at the average risk and compare it with year on year here, and also see if your risk pattern is actually reducing, or your risk palette is actually reducing or increasing within the organization, right? So this is good analytics with great insights, but nothing is going to be good if you're not able to see what are the future risks which are going to come in the future, right? And that's where we have the forecasting model. The forecasting model basically tells you what is the risks which you can anticipate for 2025 next quarter. You can also see the risk which are going to come for next 3 months. You can see the risk coming for next quarter. How it is built is basically built on entire AI platform, where it looks at your overall historic data. You can go back. In this particular scenario, we have historic data for last 12 years. You can go back in 2020. What are the top risks at that point in time? For an auditor or for a business leader, you also need to know what was your risk in the past versus what is the forecasted risk in the future. So in one single place, you will be able to pull up the risks which you have in the past, the historic top risk, as well as also see what is the risk which are going to come for Q4, what is the risk you're going to come for Q3 for this current year, right? So how this is all built is based on AI models, where you're actually getting insights of what risks might come in future. So you actually can go back and audit and look at the current controls. And this is real time. What it means real time is if you go back and change some of the current controls, if you go back and fix some of the issues, these forecasted risks will vanish or disappear, right? So what it means is that it is telling you, hey, next quarter, next year, these are the potential risks you are going to have or face in an enterprise. Now, you as an auditor or a business leader have the insights of what's going to happen to your enterprise, so you can proactively take necessary actions and prevent those risks from happening, right? Now, what's beautiful about this particular platform is that you can actually see and extract forecast for next 6 months. We can also push it to next 1 year. But why we took for next 6 months is our prediction models, machine learning models, which we built, are 99.89% accuracy for next 180 days. The accuracy of the data goes down as we start giving predictions for more than 6 months. That's why we only have taken for 6 months. But again, as Michael said, I want to push on that point. This forecast is as good as the quality of your data, right? Junk in, junk out. If you don't have good governance model, if you don't have teams putting in the right risk information, the forecasting models are not going to be accurate, right? In this case, because the data quality is good, we're able to get a forecast accuracy of 99.89%, right? Now, what's also beautiful in this platform is that you have the forecasted risk. What do you do with that? You can actually extract the data set from here, and you can actually go back and do any kind of manual activities you would want to do on this, right? Similarly, you can go back and look at the data from the past. We can pull the data for last 10 years. At the same time, you can pull the data for next 6 months, extract the data set, and you will be able to work on that on a manual front, right? So there are many, many, many more features in this particular platform, but in the interest of the time, I would like to stop here and pass it back to the Cura team. Thank you all.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Srikanth. Really appreciate it. Perhaps with the 2 minutes that we have left, we could maybe take a question or two from the team, because I do see a few questions that come up in the chat, and I think it's around the possible use cases of the platform. So the first one we've got here is from go for it. I don't know. Do you have something to say then? Go for, okay, all right. So first one from Agnes, can the risk rating metric be customized to each organization? She also has a follow-up. Can the system categorize the top risks? So just speaking to the use cases that you showcased.
Oh yeah, yeah. So again, yes, it is highly customizable tool, right? So the platform is as such built on your GRC data, but if you have your data sets, across multiple platforms, we can actually collate all that information because end of the day, if you don't have accurate data in GRC, but you have multiple other sources of data, which actually increases the accuracy of a model, we can pull that data from multiple sources. Yes, that's possible.
Perfect. Another one here from Monica. Oh, I think Monica was interested in hearing the response to the previous question. Another one came from Agnes again. Can it also perform risk scenario planning?
Oh, yeah. Yes. What it also does is it gives you actionable insights. That's the most important thing I want to stress on. What actually it means actionable insights is that you don't have to leave it for your judgment because it looks at your historic data. That means in the past, if that risk happened, what were the actions your team has taken, right? So it's going to give a list of all the data. So if that actions are accurate, that means that risk should not reoccur. The fact that the issue is reoccurring, that means the actions you have taken in the past have not been fruitful, right? So those actionable insights are going to make you a better scenarios for your future risks and what actions you need to take.
Perfect. I think we'll wrap up with one more just so that we're not lagging behind. I think this one is from Sylvia. It says, does the platform include a library of risks per section of activity perhaps, or the organization loads these risks?
It's going to pull all the data specific to your organization only, right? Again, we want to keep the data integrity for that your enterprise, and this particular platform is not going to share any information across organizations. It's custom built for your organization. That means any risk and scenarios which you have seen in the past in your organization are something which is going to be predicted for the future. We can expand it in the future where we can actually make into a generalized LLM where we can actually get lessons learned from other organizations can be insights for you guys. That's not in the current platform as of now.
Great. I think there seems to be a lot of interest on the features and functionalities of the platform you've showcased. So what we'll do is perhaps we'll allow you to just respond to some of those questions in the chat, if that's okay with you, Srikanth, and then we'll move then on into the next sort of segment, the next solution we also want to showcase, if that's okay with you.
Thank you all. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Srikanth, for that presentation. Fantastic overview of the predictive analysis tool and some of the real world applications that some of our audience members can also sort of take back into their organizations. Next up, we're joined by Rama. So he's our head of AI and data analytics here at Cura. Rama leads innovation in this space within Cura, driving how the platform sort of helps organizations uncover insights, detect patterns, and visualize data in a more meaningful way. Today, Rama will be taking us through our data analytics platform. Again, one of those exciting projects that we've been working on quietly, showcasing how you can sort of use the platform to connect your data, uncover insights, and make decisions faster and more informed. But Rama, welcome. Over to you.
Thank you, Bonga, and thank you, Srikanth and Michael. A great presentation. We are very happy to show you our most advanced analytics solution that we to you. As Michael said, the 7th generation data-driven GRC requires a lot more comprehensive, not just an analytic or a dashboard, but a vertically integrated solution that can help you to bring all the analytics together. So why we need analytics is not is not a debate anymore, but the data spread in different places, and then a significant how do we bring in the significant productivity around it. So what we have done is we created a low-code, no-code platform, and this is the solution that center that is going to break all the barriers of integration and providing the tools and technologies and embedded AI, and which you can enable at your pace. And it's a AI first and digital first type of an approach that we are seeing here. So what you're seeing here is a bunch, we call it as a control center, or the bunch of solutions. So think of it like not as a dashboard, not as a robot, but think of it as a solution. So when it comes to, let's say, let's go deep dive into duplicate payments. So what this is providing you is a comprehensive description of what this solution is all about, no ambiguity, and you can also bring in all the controls and the KPIs that are defined in your GRC platform automatically brought into your control center. You can also look at the key metrics, which you need to be looking at if the moment you think of a duplicate solutions, and you can also manage those metrics, which one you want to monitor, and the compliance of these solutions is automatically monitored through a set of rules, processes, workflows, and all that. So you will also be able to see the results of why this is 30% down, or what are those number of these duplicates. And here, this has combination of analytics plus robots. Like an analytic is nothing but connecting into different data sources, bringing the data in, mashing the data through control process, and running through getting the data into GRC, all the exceptions. And dashboards are embedded here. And then you can also offline reports, if you have, you can easily distribute it by attaching to our control center. So let's do a quick deep dive into our analytics. So I opened the analytic solution here. What we are doing here is that we are this is a robot that is running at a specific intervals and pulling the data from your Cura control center, and it is connecting to your SAP or any other data source that you have, and loading the data and mashing these, triangulating these two data to do a exception check. So you have the controls and KPIs, and you have the payables data, and when you take and you can compare to say how many of them are mismatches between invoice amounts, or how many of these are actually duplicate payments. These are the payments with the different documents, different duplicate documents with the different amounts. So there is a number of checks that you can configure, are very flexible, which is something that you as an analyst or you as a user will be able to do it. Once the exceptions are really identified, you can save those execution results into a intermediate store, or you can load that into an SAP or any system that you're where your exception should be. And you can also send these exceptions into GRC for automatic case initiation and case creation, or you can distribute this data or start a remediation process. It's a very flexible way and user-defined way of doing this process. We have number of connectors, number of controls in this. So it is a most advanced solution that we have done till date. It also embeds like your AI. If you have AI agents, like agents is something that Michael talked about, we are embedding the agents as part of your flow. So once the data comes in, an AI can come in and do a duplicate checks. And once the quality checks, once the data quality is ensured, then it can correct it itself, if not, and then do the your controls. So this is how we are pulling the data from different places, different sources, mashing the data and loading the data into your exceptions into GRC or into a system of your interest, or start remediating and immediately. So when you go into control center, the same data that you have pulled through all this, those results for each of the KPI, you will be able to see the results, and these results will be very contextual. There's a contextual to the KPI and these columns and this data changes. And here you're looking at, you can either notify someone, like, this is again a workflow that we can create through our workflow tails, or you can escalate, say, if the payment amount is bigger, like, $10 million or $1 million, you can escalate that. Or you can remediate immediately to say, okay, put a stop on the particular payment, or take a remediation actions. And what those remediation actions can easily be defined through the workflows that we have here. And you can define your own workflows as well. And it is highly customizable and highly adaptable. And all the data that we have pulled through, you will be able to see it through the dashboards. Like, say, it is a very powerful dashboarding tool available. You can either use your own dashboarding tool like a Tableau, Power BI, or we provide a dashboard tool that is very advanced and comprehensive. It comes along with our analytics. So you can choose choice of your analytics tool. So you have ability to define number of charts, and you can also edit the dashboard yourself. You don't have to wait for the IT, and you can look at, like, number of or edit a particular chart and convert the visual from a pie chart to a bar graph, or this visual need to be changed to something else. You will be able to do that. So we provide like ability to create the different types of charts. These are all the out-of-the-box charts that are, like, you can create. So this is a very powerful and more a very advanced and dashboarding tool. Also, all the analysts who are SQL savvy, data savvy, they will be able to write their own queries, create their own data sets, and create their own dashboards. If the dashboard is provided or like it need to be changed based on a particular scenario, you are not waiting for IT to do it. So quickly, like, the last feature that we have is the chatbot type feature, where you will be able to query the, like, data and in real time and say, the visuals are not, like, there, and you need to get a lot more insights or contextual data, which Michael talked about very well eloquently in GRC 7.0, that contextualization can be brought in through the agents and through the AI chatbot. So this is our the entire analytics solution. And I'm going to pause here and take few questions.
Perfect. Thanks, Rama. Let's just have a look in the chat and see if there's any questions to you from the audience.